John F. Kennedy becomes the 35th President of the United States. A U.S. B-52 Stratofortress carrying 2 nuclear bombs crashes near Goldsboro, North Carolina, and the United States launches its first test of the Minuteman I intercontinental ballistic missile. The year is 1961, and this was the last year for DeSoto in the United States, and this is what it looked like. But before getting into all of it, I'm your host Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that shows you these cars in mini documentary format. We go over the history, specs, design. If any of that sounds of interest to you, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. For those unfamiliar with DeSoto, DeSoto was a car brand offered by Chrysler from 1928 to 1961, named after Spanish conquistador Hernando DeSoto. It's important to note that there was another company named DeSoto based in Auburn, Indiana around 1912. It was a subsidiary of Zimmerman. Both companies would be bought by Auburn Automobile Company, and there is no connection other than the DeSoto name between those two companies. When DeSoto became a brand in 1928, the Chrysler brand lineup was Plymouth, DeSoto, Dodge, Chrysler, and then Chrysler Imperial. Underneath the same umbrella for Chrysler Imperial, of course, Imperial doesn't become its own brand until 1955. And then in the mid-30s, DeSoto and Dodge would trade spots, moving more upmarket in the mid-30s. So then it would be Plymouth, Dodge, DeSoto, Chrysler, then Chrysler Imperial. And DeSoto was more or less the red-headed stepchild of the Chrysler Corporation, competing with such brands but not limited to Buick, Mercury, Studebaker. 1961 was the last year for DeSoto here in the States, but it went longer in foreign markets. The 1961 DeSoto model lineup was only offered in 2 body styles, a 2-door hardtop and a 4-door hardtop. Sources conflict on what the model was actually called. Some say that it was just branded as DeSoto. Other sources will claim that it was DeSoto RS1L, like the standard catalog, while others would call it the Adventure-er. Chrysler Corporation would pull the plug on DeSoto just 47 days after the 1961 models were introduced. Options, not getting into all of the options, but here are a few. Air conditioner with heater, air conditioner only, permanent antifreeze, heater, backup lights, RCA automatic record player, 6-way power seats, power steering, power brakes. DeSoto also offered package deals in accessory groups. So essentially, what you got for the price of the car was the car, the engine, a seat to sit in, and all of these were extras. 1961 did see a bit of a facelift / redesign, so let's compare. 60 on top, 61 on the bottom, starting in the front. Before getting into the differences, let's talk about similarities. Both of these cars have quad headlights. Both of these cars have the turn signal indicators underneath the headlights. Both of these cars have wraparound windshields. Now, let's talk about some differences. The differences between these cars are a lot. The bumpers are different. The whole front fascia is completely different. The 61 has 2 grills, essentially. The DeSoto grill on top and then the more pronounced grill on the bottom, whereas the 60 only has the grill on, it's only one grill. The mirrors are located in the same place, but they are designed differently. Also take a look at the wheel openings. They look a little bit different, but it could be the angle of the shot between these two. Moving to the rear profile, take a look at the rear situation between these two. Both of the roofs look very similar, the pillar situation does, but for whatever reason on the 60, it looks just a little bit wider than it does on the 61. Maybe that's because the trim got a little bit thicker on the 61, or it could just be the angle of the shot. Not 100% sure on that. The fin profile definitely changed ever so slightly. If you look over by the door on the 60, it doesn't have the boomerang effect like it does on the 61. It doesn't have that like forward look kind of boomerang. Brake lights are different, designed as well. The rear bumpers are also different. Backup light location changed. It's more inboard on the 60 versus on the outside edges on the 61. Jumping inside to take a real quick gander at the dash and interior situation, which are both different. Which one do you like better? Let's talk specs. 215.6 inches long, 54.8 inches tall, 79.4 inches wide. It rides a wheelbase of 122 inches. It weighs 3,760 pounds. Price, $3,102, which would be equivalent to you spending $33,350, 65 cents in the year 2025. Total 1961 DeSoto was 3,034 units, and it was broken down into 911 two-door hardtop, 2,123 four-door hardtop. This car was built using unit body construction. Moving on to engine, only one engine on offer for this car, 361 cubic inch displacement overhead valve V8, 5.91 liters. It was good for 265 horsepower at 4,400 RPM, 380 pound-feet, or 502 newton meters around 2,400 RPM with a bore of 4.12 inches and a stroke of 3.38 inches. Compression is 9-to-1. When backed with a 3-speed manual transmission, 0 to 60 could be achieved in 8.1 seconds with a theoretical top speed of 120 miles per hour while achieving an average of anywhere between 8 to 11 miles to the gallon. I found this car currently for sale at Motor Car Portfolio out in Magnolia, Ohio, where they got this car and they got a selection of other classic cars for sale. But this car, let me tell you about this car. I don't think I've ever seen another 1961 DeSoto in this kind of shape. This is a stellar car. Just wait until we do the walk around. For hours, directions to get the full scoop on this very car, be sure to click the link below after the show. Talk about one that you don't see every day or ever. Let's talk styling on this absolutely gorgeous car. Notice it has the headlights in front end of the Chrysler 300, or at least the headlights. So just notice how they kick up. It also has this overhang part, just like the Chrysler 300. How these lights are designed. Coming around the side over here, there's a lot going on. Just check out that bumper profile, how it comes up. This work here, how it all protrudes. Bright work comes off of this piece here, and it actually gets bigger and then runs down and becomes the rocker trim. Also, just check out how straight that car is. Wow, super straight. It has fender markers up here on the front fenders. The bumpers don't have any overriders and or bumperettes. Nice clean grille with DeSoto spelled out at the top. This car does have a center line going back towards the single piece or wraparound windshield. Also notice how the front just bevels down. This car has gorgeous wire wheels. The wheel openings are just kind of rolled back. Take a look at this trim piece, how it comes down, it becomes the rocker trim. This car does have beltline molding or beltline trim as well. Side mirrors are located on the fender. Just look at how they are designed. This one has the external cowl vent with windshield wipers that oppose. Also take a gander at this dashboard. It has the light through dashboard. I wonder how well that worked. Sunlight would push through the instrument panel so you could see the lights better in the sunlight was the idea behind it. But also just notice how that part is designed. This car has drip rails, so they start right here and it runs the whole way back. Very petite pillars with bright work around it. Absolutely massive back glass. Rocker trim. And it turns into like a gravel guard here and then continues until passing the wheel well. But it's a super straight car. This is the nicest 61 DeSoto I've ever seen. Check out this fin, where the fin starts. It almost has the boomerang for the forward look logo. And then they just come off there and protrude. Just look at that fin profile. I don't know if you'd call that a delta fin because of the angle. That backup light. The bumpers in the back are totally different than the bumpers in the front. Very clean design with overriders and or bumperettes. DeSoto spelled out on the deck lid with a series of bead lines. This nice bright bead line heading back towards the single piece curved back glass. Power antenna in the back. I just wanted to take a minute to show you how straight this car is. It's not every day that you get to see a car from the Exner era this nice. Just check out how that door handle opens. Also check out this door profile. The door has an interesting shape. Notice the different colors. It feels like a vinyl material. You got black, white, red, and then there's another part down here. You got the armrest, door handle to get out, window crank for the big window, vent window. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, you have the high beam switch right behind the emergency brake and or parking brake. And this is the parking brake release. This pedal right here is for the windshield wiper wash feature. So it was like literally hands-free. You didn't have to take your hands off the steering wheel. You could just push this pedal. It also operates the windshield wipers for a time while you push the pedal. Great feature they don't have in cars anymore. Brake, gas pedal. Just take a gander at this interior. Here's what over the hood would look like. Here's what first person over the hood would look like. On to the button switches and knobs, starting with the push buttons for drive modes. Reverse, neutral, drive, second, first, 120 mile per hour speedometer, which looks absolutely awesome with all of that light coming through. Odometer just below that. Oil pressure, coolant temperature, clock. Just below the clock, there are two little tiny lights. One is for high beam, the other one is for turn signal. Gasoline gauge, amp meter, heat and ventilation controls, joystick control for the mirror, headlights, wipers, brake warning light for the parking brake, key, interior lights, lighter, DeSoto AM radio. Up above, there are sun visors and they look like this. They're a bit on the big side. Notice there is no rear view mirror up here. That is because it's down here on the dashboard. It connects right to it. I have the door open so you can see where the light would be right above the radio. There's an ashtray right below it. take a look at this headliner. It has the ribbing like the convertible top, and then there's a nice dome light behind me. On to the glove box test. Here is our test subject. Here is my hand for reference. Here is the glove box in question. Notice there is a glove box light. Also notice how absolutely massive that glove box is. Fitting that in there and shutting it. You could probably fit another one in there. Getting in the back. Seat moves forward and it pivots out of the way, allowing that much access into the back. Also notice the rear compartment does dip down a little bit here, and the transmission tunnel, how big that is. Here's what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander at the greenhouse or the pillar to glass ratio, which is super nice in this car because the pillars are very small. That's what visibility looks like out the back from the back seat. Gorgeous view. Nice big parcel shelf back there with rear speakers. Let's talk about seat back profile, or just the seats in general. Aren't these seats fun? Look at this pattern design. They feel like a vinyl material with like a cloth. The seat back does recline ever so slightly. The seat back, the bench, dips down just a wee bit, so it does go up a little bit. I'm 6'2", and there's enough room to sit back here, especially if you put your feet up underneath the seat. There's ample space. Also, I forgot to tell you, look at this seat split situation. Also notice that the driver part is a little bit higher than the passenger side. So just see how those seats split. There are coat hooks right there. There's a coat hook over there. There is also an armrest in the back, as well as the windows do go up and down, which they operate like this. It's a massive piece of glass. Just take a gander at this absolutely gorgeous engine. It's got 12-volt battery with battery disconnect switch, which is a great feature to have. Power steering. Notice it's a 2-belt system. Belts are pretty thin, but it's really cool to see how they did things back then. So you got the crankshaft running the power steering pump on one belt, and then on the other belt you have the water pump combo with the fan and the alternator. Oil filters right in front. I don't know if you can see it right down there, that orange frame filter. Distributor right here in the front. But for the size of the engine, this radiator is actually pretty petite. And then the horns sit up here. There's one horn, and there's the other horn there. This one has power brakes as well. The master cylinder underneath. It's a windshield washer bag. On the positive side, these are rare, and two-door hardtop is even rarer. Last of the breed in the USA, interesting dashboard, huge glove box, good engine, push-button transmission available, and they're just different against it. Styling is a bit of an acquired taste, rust-prone. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. 2 scenarios today. These may or may not be fair. All of them are orphan cars. Which one would you rather have? 1961 Studebaker Hawk, or 1961 DeSoto, or 1961 Mercury Monterey? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to the second scenario. 1961 AMC Ambassador, 1-year body shape only. Interesting car. 1961 DeSoto, or 1961 Oldsmobile 98. Once again, gonna leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band, song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. Just for the record, nobody got yesterday's Name That Tune or the Packard Name That Tune, and both of those songs are the same. Dennis, are you listening? Or did I fool your software? Anyway, thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. I appreciate everything that you guys bring in the comments. I love the community that we made together. I appreciate everything that you guys bring to this community. Until next time, toodaloo! Welcome to the after show. You will not be disappointed in this after show. Get to see this car in all of its glory. Enjoy. I just want to reiterate, this part of the video doesn't have any sound or commentary, but it gives you the opportunity to put whatever sound or commentary you would wish to put in the background. If you have any long, nice, groovy songs, like groovy music, maybe some Pink Floyd, put some of that on. Enjoy.